Rome, 80 AD. Emperor Titus has just built an arena that will be remembered for 2,000 years. 100 days of non-stop games, thousands of animals, hundreds of fighters, and I am one of them. I went there for one day, to live 24 hours in the skin of a gladiator. Forget everything you've seen in the movies. There are no heroes and villains here. There are people worth as much as supercars, and they are looked after only as long as they make money. Let's go.
Ad gloriam morituri!
"4:30 in the morning. No dawn yet, but my nose already knows where I am. A mix of stale straw, garlic, and cheap lamp oil. That's what ancient success smells like. My cell in Ludus Magnus is a concrete box, 3 by 3 meters, no window, but the walls are covered with the names of those who slept on these bunks before me. Gladiator cells had their own death list. Names of fighters scratched into the walls, and next to them, the symbol Theta, the mark of death. If a name was smeared over with soot, it meant he died yesterday. Hear the footsteps behind the door? That's the guards. But they're not here to stop me from running. There's nowhere for an elite fighter to run in the middle of Rome. They're here to guard the merchandise.
Ludus Magnus, the premier gladiator school in Rome. It stands right next to the Colosseum, connected by a hidden underground tunnel. Fighters are led onto the arena floor, straight from beneath the earth. Gladiators are not disposable. They are an investment. A single fighter here is worth up to $500,000 by today's standards. Every appearance in the arena is a massive risk for the owner. If a fighter dies, the game organizer must pay compensation, sometimes 10 times higher than the appearance fee itself. That is why death matches are rare. The value of the man is higher than the spectacle. Here, they don't care about you as a human being. They care about you as an asset. And as long as you generate profit, you stay alive.
Breakfast. A clay bowl of thick gray porridge, barley and beans, sometimes bits of dried fruit. This is the staple here. That's why they call us hordeari, the barley men. Tastes like wet cardboard, but you eat it because in a few hours this bowl will decide whether you last through the fight. Then the drink. Wood ash dissolved in vinegar. Yeah, this is literally their version of a sports drink. Calcium, minerals, so bones heal faster after fractures. Almost no meat, sometimes after fights or on special days, but not as part of daily life. Same thing every day, not for the taste, so that your body doesn't give out before it's time.
Barley, wheat, beans, lentils, chickpeas, figs, olives, nuts. This is the gladiator's basic diet. Up to 70% of calories came from carbohydrates, 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day. Almost no meat, less protein than a modern fighter. This wasn't a mistake. This was by design. This diet built weight and subcutaneous fat. A thick layer reduced the risk of fatal wounds. The blade cut the surface without reaching deep. Blood? Yes. Spectacle? Yes. The fighter is alive. They recovered from injuries faster than ordinary citizens of Rome. They were fed better than most free people. Because a well-fed gladiator means a fight that lasts longer. And the longer fight, that's money.
6 in the morning. The sand is still cold. The sun isn't up yet, and we're already on the arena. The training arena is right in the school's courtyard. An oval stands around the edges. By noon, 3,000 people will come just to watch us work. Right now, I'm carrying 18 kilograms of gear. Helmet, manica on my right arm, greave on my left leg, belt, shield. The sword is wooden, Ludus, weighs twice as much as a real gladius. The shield, 10 kilograms, also weighted. All of this so that in a real fight, the actual weapons feel lighter. The view through the visor, a slit 2 fingers wide. Sweat runs into my eyes, and there's nothing to wipe it with. You breathe hot air through narrow gaps. Across from me, a throx, light shield, curved blade, Sika. It's designed to reach around the shield, get past the defense, hit where you don't expect it. He's fast. I'm not. I have a different format. Big shield, heavy armor, short sword. My job is not to chase him. Hold position. Wait until he opens up. Doctore stands nearby. Trainer, former gladiator. Yells, "Shield up!" He knows what he's talking about. Your arm gets tired. The shield drops 3 centimeters, and the blade will find that gap. 3 centimeters. That's the whole difference between a wound and a clean block. They don't teach you to fight well here. They teach you to survive. Because in a fight, you don't think. Adrenaline, noise, 50,000 people screaming, like a football stadium. So every movement has to become automatic, so the body works on its own. We train 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. Same strikes, same combinations, so that in a fight, the hands do everything by themselves.
Ready Arius, a net and a trident, 0 armor. 1 miss with the net and you're naked against an armed man. Against him, they put a secutor, a smooth sphere helmet impossible to grab onto, and eye slits so narrow that a trident can't take out both eyes at once. Hoplomachus, a small round shield and a heavy spear, works like a surgeon, stabs into the gaps of armor from a distance where you can't reach him with a sword. Dimicaris, 2 short swords, no shield, pure speed and madness. Scissor, instead of a left hand, a steel tube with a blade on the end. No shield, no second sword, just a blade that is part of the body. They put him against the ready Arius. He cut through the net in 1 move. Equus starts on horseback. Sounds impressive. Always finishes on foot, in a clinch, in the dust, without any glory. And there's the Esidarius. This one fights from a chariot, the most expensive to maintain. Horses, a driver, repairs. The school owner calculates every time whether it would be cheaper to just buy another swordsman. Laquarius, instead of a net, a lasso, a loop around the neck or the arm, and he pulls. While the opponent loses balance, he finishes him with a short blade. Every combination is a collision of different speeds, different distances, different rhythms. Romans didn't bet on a man. They bet on whether speed could beat mass, whether a net could catch a sphere. This is not a slaughter. This is the engineering of spectacle.
We're in the Ludus baths. Hot. Smells like eucalyptus and oil. A slave masseur rubs a mix of olive oil and fine sand into sore muscles, the best exfoliation money can buy in the 1st century. On the next table, my cellmate. Yesterday they nearly opened his abdomen in the arena. Now the Lanista's personal doctor works on him. Instruments made of the finest steel. Knowledge that an ordinary citizen would give his entire fortune for. Here they don't just wash you. They patch you up, fix your joints, and oil you like a complex mechanism. Because this mechanism has to step onto the sand and earn back its investment. Baths with heated floors, cold pool, hot pool, steam room. I am property, and I am served by other property, but the conditions here are better than for most free people outside the wall.
A gladiator is a costly asset. In Rome, a free citizen could die from blood poisoning after an accidental scratch, but a fighter was returned to service at any cost. Doctors essentially learned on living people. Constant wounds gave them access to living anatomy, unavailable to ordinary medics. Knowledge was used for tactics. Fighters understood where to strike safely for the show and which points lead to instant death. Bleeding was stopped radically by cauterizing wounds with red-hot iron. Vinegar was used as a disinfectant. They washed open tissues with it to destroy bacteria. Stitches were applied crudely, using bone needles and threads made of animal tendons. The surgeon's task was not the aesthetics of a scar, but functionality. The main goal, so the fighter would not die and could step onto the arena once more.
We are walking through the corridor of Ludus Magnus, straight under the arena. The guards lead us through the underground tunnel, the same one that connects the school with the Colosseum directly. Now the gate will rise, and 50,000 people will see me. The sand on the arena is not just there, it absorbs blood, so the audience doesn't see how much of it was spilled here before me. There are judges on the arena, with staffs. Break a rule or show weakness, you get a strike on the arm, without warnings. Death here is not the norm. If I fight worthily, the organizer will grant missio, a pardon. It is not profitable to kill me. I cost too much. Sometimes the fight is stopped earlier before someone dies because a good fighter is money. Someone today will get freedom. Someone just the right to return to the cell. And someone will stay here, under this sand. Let's see who I turn out to be.
Up to 600 slaves worked under the arena. 80 counterweight lifts raised beasts, scenery, and fighters directly from underground. During the show, they appeared as if from nowhere. The Colosseum held up to 50,000 people and filled faster than a modern stadium. 80 numbered entrances, every spectator knew their sector. Tickets were free. The games were paid for by the emperor. This was not a celebration, it was a tool of control. Seating was strictly by status. The higher the rank, the closer to the arena. Common people sat under the open sky. Overhead, the velarium, a giant sun awning operated by sailors of the imperial fleet. The system of ropes worked like sails on a ship. Gladiator combat isn't a sport or a fair duel. It's a death industry where your life is worth exactly what the audience is willing to pay for it. There is no room for fancy footwork here, only cold calculation, the weight of the armor, and the skill to kill efficiently enough to keep the emperor from getting bored. In the arena, you are either the meat entertaining the crowd with your agony, or the fine-tuned machine grinding other lives into gold and glory. Forget everything you've seen in the movies. The emperor didn't give a thumbs up to grant life. Mercy looked different, a clenched fist with a thumb tucked inside. It was called pollice compresso, a symbol that the sword was sheathed. Today, Rome chose to save, and the fighter earned the right to live, preserved. Gladiator combat was not a chaotic slaughter. It was a strictly regulated entertainment industry. Bouts followed a script under the eye of professional referees who monitored technique and aesthetics. Lions, bears, and tigers were often released onto the arena suddenly. Hidden lifts and trapdoors allowed beasts to appear right beneath the fighter's feet, turning the hunt into an unpredictable thriller. This technical complexity of the arena guaranteed the audience a maximum level of tension and dynamics. During the Grand Games, which lasted 100 days, over 9,000 animals were destroyed in the Colosseum. Experienced fighters never attacked first. They waited for a mistake. A bout could end in seconds if someone rushed. Arena stars were protected. They were matched against weaker opponents. This was business, not a lottery. The thumbs-down gesture is a myth from Hollywood movies. Mercy was signaled by a clenched fist. Death was indicated by a finger pointed toward the throat, a direct instruction on exactly where to strike. When the screams fade, the liquidators emerge. Mercury sears the body with hot iron to check reflexes. Then Karen delivers a final hammer blow to the skull. This isn't a ritual, it's a quality check. Once death is confirmed, the Libitonari hook the bodies with iron clamps and drag them through the gate of death. The evacuation is done at a run to minimize pauses in the show. On the arena floor, personnel immediately cover the blood with fresh sand, hiding the traces of combat. In the spoliarium, expensive equipment is stripped from the corpses for cleaning and reuse. The blood of slain gladiators was collected directly from wounds and sold through apothecary shops as a cure for epilepsy. This scarce biomaterial was considered a potent stimulant, ensuring total monetization of the fighter's remains immediately after the bout. The games continued for 100 consecutive days. 9,000 slaughtered beasts, hundreds of fighters. This was no whim. It was the foundation of political stability. The empire knew a well-fed crowd, injected with adrenaline, asks no questions. A foolproof method of control, frozen in time. Bread and circuses.